This video will demonstrate the non-surgical rapid appliance technique. A patient presents with a prosthetic that the patient has been wearing, in this case an upper and lower, and it is time for a replacement. Maybe it's a need for teeth to be fixed in the posterior. Perhaps it is a breakdown of the prosthetic. Perhaps it has tissue gaps. Whatever the reason is, it's time for new prosthetics. As you can see, some occlusal needs here from a chrome case, but this could be for any full arch case. In this case, it's double arch. This works for single arch as well. And the steps are quite simple. They're basically doing laboratory work in the office. So the first step will be to remove the prosthetics and add some tray adhesive, to both of the intaglios. And then screw the prosthetics back in the mouth and perform a reline impression. And that way we can fill the tissue gap. Then once the prosthetics are removed, in this case these are all multi-unit abutments, you'll have a set of multi-unit abutment model analogs. And you'll place one in each implant. Right, so then you have the prosthetic with, in this case, 5. Actually, I think, yes, just 5. Thought that was a whole. Another site. So 5 multi-unit abutment analogs. In this case, there'll be 4. And what you'll do with these analogs is you'll seat them in a patty of stone. Now this, you can see the shape of this. This was probably in a denture cup, which works really well. If you have another flasking technique at your office, that's fine too. But load the cup with stone, in this case buff stone. Most stones will work, a non-expanding stone. And take the prosthetic and seat it down into the stone so that you can just see the tops of the analogs. All right, now perhaps the reline impression is obscuring it, and that's okay if it's a little bit below or a little bit above the material. And then you let that set completely. Then you backfill underneath the impression material from your reline impression, either a soft tissue model or, in this case, PVS impression material. Soft tissue model is going to work better, especially for us here at the laboratory, but it'll also be able to be removed and peeled away. PVS, not so easy, it'll break if it's removed. So soft tissue is better. So now, when you remove the prosthetic, you can see you've created an analog model with a tissue model quite easily in the office. In this case, we did it with both arches. So here's the lower model, upper model. Once the models are fabricated, the prosthetics will be screwed down to both models, like so. Then, with a lab putty, we recommend either whale dent Coltine or a Kettenbach also sells a material that you just have a hard and a soft, and you knead them together like any lab putty. And you mold it in a large enough piece, and then you would take this piece and you will insert it mold it over the prosthetic. Let me remove the prosthetic so it fits. And you'll encapsulate the prosthetic. And you want to be very careful so that this seals to the model completely, 360 all the way around, and it really gets pushed nicely into the intaglio and fits nicely. Okay, then when this sets, you'll peel this off, and then you'll have a void. Right? The prosthetic will still be sitting here, of course, like so. You'll have the void of the prosthetic. So think of what you have now. Now you have an implant model, you have essentially an impression of the prosthetic, and you have the implants indexed, you have the teeth indexed, you have everything you need to send us to the laboratory to pour this up, which is the part that we will do. We will inject it probably in a clear, a little more visibility for us to see through and work and make sure that it's correct. And this is what we will create. Now we have a duplicate of your prosthetic at the laboratory, fit to the model, and then we will simply use scan analogs and a scanning process to turn this into a 3D prosthetic to make prototypes for a final. So with this, you'll have upper, lower prosthetics articulated at our laboratory. You'll also take a conventional bite and send it in with these records. So you'll send the patient home that day in their prosthetics, so that's gone, and you'll send us flasks, you'll send us models. We will create these. I'd highly recommend that you let the lab create the actual prosthetic part of the injection part, and a bite registration. This is what you send to the laboratory physically, not digitally. Physically send it to us with an RX and a shade and some instructions on how to make the prosthetics, and we will send you prototypes for final. The Rapid Appliance.